Minasan, konnichiwa. Samurai Engineer desu. In this video, let us talk about Chapter 3, Systems Design, Activity-Based Costing. So previous chapter, we have what? Job order costing. So now we have activity-based costing. And in this current lecture, we are going to start with module 01. Let's go on. Our learning goal in this lecture is to understand the basic approach in activity-based costing and how it differs from conventional costing. Assigning overhead costs to products. When cost systems were developed in 1800s, the emphasis was on simplicity because, number one, cost and activity data had to be collected by hand and all calculations were done with paper and pencil. So we need simplicity, simplistic approach. Number two, most companies produce a limited variety of similar products, so there was little difference in the overhead cost consumed by each product. Okay, so unlike the companies of today, the operations are more and more complex from year 1800 up to current year. So, therefore, because of complexity, there are other concepts like plant-wide overhead rate. So, plant-wide overhead rate is a single overhead rate used throughout the entire factory. Direct labor has often been used as the allocation base for overhead because direct labor rather than hours. Currently, the most common way of doing this is per hour. The base is hours. So now they are usually using the direct labor as the base for overhead because number one, direct labor information was already being recorded. Number two, direct labor was a large component of product cost. And number three, managers believe direct labor and overhead costs were highly correlated. So those reasons created series of movements and events and activities, methods, such that today direct labor may no longer be satisfactory base for allocation of overhead. Just like what I've said a while ago. Mostly, current situation, we are using hours, okay, per hour. It is because, number one, most companies sell a large variety of products that consume differing amounts of overhead. Meaning, product A consumes different overhead than product B or in product C. Different products have different corresponding overhead. Number two, as a percentage of total cost, direct labor has been shrinking and overhead has been increasing. Okay? Overhead increasing, direct labor shrinking. Because of what? Automation. Okay? Because of efficiency, because of performance, because of mechanization in the factory area. Many of the new overhead costs may not be correlated with direct labor, but correlated in terms of what? Machines. Okay. So robots, robotic applications. Okay. And number 3, technology advancements have reduced the cost and complexity of gathering diverse sources of data. Okay, plant-wide overhead allocation system may not be optimal for many companies in today's business environment because of these reasons. So instead of plant-wide, we have departmental overhead rates. So meaning, for example, a department that is making one product, another department for another product. Okay, and then the next product for another department. So we have departmental computation for each and every overhead. Many companies have a system in which every department has its own overhead rates. For example, machining department. These are parts, not yet a whole product, but parts. Okay. So for each part that could later on be assembled into an assembly unit, different overhead computation. And then shipping department, meaning not only on the external shipping, but internal. If there are several buildings in a factory system, for example, there are 3 buildings in one factory. That is very normal in export processing zone. And therefore, shipping the components or the assembly from one building to another creates a problem, and therefore additional and different computation for overhead. This allocation base depends on the nature of the work performed in each department. In the machining department, overhead may be based on machine hours, but in assembly department, overhead may be based on labor hours. So it depends on who are making the job. Are the automated mechanism doing the job or human being doing the job? Okay, machine hours or labor hours. Departmental overhead rates continued. Departmental rates will not correctly assign overhead in situations where a company has a range of products and complex overhead costs. The departmental approach relies exclusively on volume-related allocation basis, while some overhead costs may be caused by factors that are not related to the volume of production. And activity-based costing is required to account for these other factors. So from plant-wide, now departmental, now activity-based. So stepwise, meaning of activity-based is stepwise in its process step. Okay. So its process step will what? Allocate one overhead computation. And that is what we call activity-based costing, or popularly called ABC in production line. A number of allocation bases are used for assigning cost to products, and one of which is ABC. It starts with identifying cost objects. What are the cost objects for each and every activity? Okay. So for example, you can select if the cost object is product or customer. For example, in manufacturing of airplanes, probably the cost objects are customers. For example, Boeing brand as ordered by PAL or Philippine Airlines, or Boeing brand as ordered by Emirates, or Boeing brand as ordered by what? Japan, okay? Japan Airways. So maybe customer based, no? Cost object. Also product based could be used. It just depends on the taste and the operational details of the company. It is a company to company basis. So after selecting cost object, we can now list down the activities for the cost objects. What are the cost object activities? Okay, listing it down from the start, utilizing the raw material up to the finished goods. Then after which we can what? Little by little, it is being tested for each and every activity, and therefore, in each step, we can what? Compute. We can compute for each activity. So, if the production line has, for example, 5 sublines or 5 steps in the process, so there are 5 activities involved. So each of the 5 activities would need to record data and later on calculate or compute the costing for each of these activities. Activity-based costing continued. So activity is the trigger point after which you listed all the activities. Then an event that causes the consumption of overhead resources follows. Example of activities that we can think of right now. For example, initially we have to set up the machines necessary for production of the particular product. Okay, that is one example of activity. That is what? Production line or manufacturing type of activity. Another activity example is admitting patients in a hospital. That is an initial activity. When your business is what? Hospital operation. Okay. And another one, if, for example, you are sale of consumer goods. So the initial activity would be what? For example, gathering of prospective or potential clients. Then later on, maybe the last activity would be what? Billing customer after they order. For example, ordering our products by loan, okay, or by 30 days terms. So we have what? Accounts receivable. So later on, we can bill them after 30 days. And banking operation, maybe an initial step would be opening a bank account. So these are some of the examples of activity, and each of these can be thought of as a separate unit so that for the purpose of costing, we can compute the contribution of these activities. Activity cost pool. So there are listing. You have a cost bucket in which costs related to a particular activity are accumulated. you are going to have a sort of an account name for the cost. So that is similar. That is similar in concept with our what ledger costing. So activity measure expresses how much of the activity is carried out and is used as the allocation base for applying overhead cost. Okay. So if the event cannot be measured, we cannot list it down as activity. If cannot be measured, then we cannot compute anything. So the smallest aggregate of operation, the smallest unit, the smallest aggregate of operation that can be measured. So list down as activity. Otherwise, we cannot compute anything out of it. So after computation, so activity rate, a predetermined overhead rate, so POHR. So we already talk about POHR on several previous videos. So we now have what? A unit-based amount which could be multiplied by some factors later on so that we can we can have an easy computation for the total costing for each and every relevant product or cost objects. Okay. So activity-based costing for each activity in isolation. This system works exactly like the job order costing system as we described in previous chapter 2. So if you are just looking at one activity, it is similar to one job order. So one activity, one job order, same process. Okay. Therefore, only the terminology will change, meaning the computation, the concept, the formulas are still same. The predetermined overhead rate or POHR is computed for each activity and then applied to jobs and products based on the amount of activity consumed by the job or product. So the rate can be applied depending on what is your cost object. Designing an activity-based costing system. The challenge is to select a reasonably small number of activities that explain the bulk of the variation in overhead cost. It's easier said than done. How can you do it in actual terms? Small activities, no? Small number of activities. So it depends. For example, the whole product cycle could be divided into 9. Other managers would divide it into 5. Other department would divide it into other. So it is useful for a single company to divide a certain cycle into similar number of activities. It is very uncommon that one department would use, for example, 5 number of activities for the same product, wherein the other department is using 9 several activities. Okay. So it it is so useful for all of the department to use uniform number of activities. Activities are usually chosen by interviewing a broad range of managers to find out what activities they think consume most of the organization's resources. So consult each other, consult the managers, because they are directly involved in analyzing these things, and they are the one involved in decision making later on. So they may want to suggest the activity definition. They may want to say, for me, it's better for this whole cycle to be divided into 6 rather than 5 or 9. So then, if there are many managers that would use the costing, so what? Interview each and every one of them and come up with what? A middle ground, so that each of those managers would be able to what? Do their job, do their decision making, and at the same time use a reasonable number of activities for a complete system. Designing an activity-based costing system, continued. Related activities are frequently combined to reduce the amount of detail and record-keeping cost. Okay. So it is not always good to divide the whole process into more and more activities. For example, if there are 9 activities for the whole process, it is may at some instant useful to have only 5 or 6 activities definitions. I said definition because this will be converted to what? Account names. You will convert this to account names, and then the accountants will what? Will sort of become a cost bucket for each of those definitions. Okay. So that is why I am relating this actually to accounting. So for example, several activities may be involved in handling and moving raw materials, but this activity may be combined into a single activity that could be named, for example, as material handling. Okay. So handling and moving, okay, transferring, transporting within the plant. So maybe let us call all of these activities as a single activity called material handling. So it depends. It depends. When your managers and your decision makers would like more reduction into smaller sub-activities, then you have to follow. But not all the time, those many sub-activities would be better than fewer number of activities. An activity dictionary defines each of the activities that will be included in the activity-based costing system and how the activities will be measured. So I already talked about definition. So in your own company, it is company to company basis. Each and every company would define their own activities, and therefore by saying definition, they have to actually write it down. They have to write down the definition, and this definition will become a policy of the company, policy of the production line. or reference technical terms for the production line. So you have to put all the definition in one what? For example, booklet. Okay, that is what available for each and every production workers or staff. Hierarchy of activities. We can classify into 4 levels: activity and activity measure. For example, unit level. If the activity is processing units on machines, activity measure is machine hours. Next one, again, unit level, processing units by hand. So therefore, meaning of by hand, there is a human labor, therefore labor hours. Another example of activity is consuming factory supplies. So therefore, how to measure this in terms of units produced. So summarize or total all the consumables, then correspond it to the number of units produced at the same time the consumables were consumed. Okay, so the next level from the unit level would be batch level. Unit level meaning one piece, no, per piece basis. No? Batch level meaning, for example, by 100 or by dozens. Okay, so batch by batch. Okay. So an example would be processing purchase order. Therefore, how to measure this? Purchase orders processed, the number of orders processed. Okay. Another example is processing production orders. How to measure it? The number. Record the number of production orders. Okay. And then another example, setting up equipment. And how to measure? Count the number of setups. Okay, because each and every setup would be a downtime, would be a waste of time. That is supposed to be what? Manufacturing time. But since you are setting up the machine or the equipment, it is a downtime. You are not doing the product. You are doing other things, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour for setup, and that is a loss of time. Another example is handling materials for batch level. How can we measure it? Weight, take the weight. How many pounds or how many kilos of materials are handled. So that's an example that you can use. Although handling of materials, not always what you have to weigh. You have to take how many kilos. It depends. It always depends on your what, in your product and your company. Okay, you have to decide on that. You have to decide. The third level is the product level. So not only batch level, but product level is the level with greater magnitude than the batch level. What are possible examples? Number one, testing new products. Therefore, you can what? Measure it by how many hours is the testing time. Another activity is administering parts inventories. What is the possible measure? count the number of parts. Okay. Another example, designing products. If you design the products, you need time, and therefore you can what? Record the number of hours that you design the product. And let's go to the highest level, the facility level. Facility, it could mean factory, could mean plant. So that level is even a bigger level. So example is a general factory administration. How could we measure that? For example, we are interested in direct level. So we could what? Record all the time cards, all of the employees in the plant. Okay, direct level. Another example is plant building and grounds. Okay, same thing. We can what? Record all the number of hours consumed. Okay. So those are the example of activities classified in each of the 4 different hierarchy of levels. Let us imagine a graphic example of ABC. Various manufacturing overhead. So we can what? Have the first stage cost assignment. Okay. First stage cost assignment. So let us break it down into several. In this example, we are breaking it down into 6. Example, labor-related pool, machine-related pool, setup pool. What we mean by pool is bucket. Okay? It's a bucket. It is a container. For example, swimming pool. Swimming pool is a container of water. It contains water. Okay? So, labor-related pool. So, meaning all of the labors, direct labor that are related to it could be included in this classification. Okay? So, production order pool, parts administration pool, and general factory pool. So if you are able to do that stage, you can now go to the second stage allocation. By second stage allocation, we now have to do the computation. So maybe for labor-related pool, we are computing the amount of money per direct labor hours. While in machine-related pool, amount of money per machine hours. And for setup pool, amount of money or the cost per setup. How much is one setup? Okay. How much is the cost of one setup? So the time being wasted is converted into what money, in terms of money. Okay. So production order, how much per order? Parts administration, how much money per parts? And for general factory pool, how much per machine hours? So after which we can apply all of these activity-based into the product. So since, for example, product A involves all of these 6 activity units, okay? So we can apply all of those. It depends. For example, product B only involves 4 of these activities, or product C involves only 3 activities. So you have to apply corresponding involvement of activities. So as you can see in this graphics, there are three broken lines that separates, that divides different level in terms of hierarchy. For example, unit level. So maybe there are only two. There are only two cost bucket. For batch level, there are 4 cost bucket. And for product level, there are 5 cost bucket. And for facility level, all of the cost buckets are involved. Using activity-based costing, example, Comtech Sound Incorporated makes 2 products, CD players and DVD players, for example. And the company has been losing bids to supply CD players, its main product, to lower priced competitors. Okay. So this company is losing its what? Selling offer. They want to sell their CD players, but because of low-cost competitors, they are losing to competition. Number 3, the company has been winning all bids to supply DVD players, its secondary product. So DVD player is only secondary, but it is the best in the market. Okay? For the current year, Comtech has budgeted sales of 50,000 DVD units and 200,000 CD units. And Comtech's traditional cost system applies manufacturing overhead to products based on direct labor hours. Okay? Traditional cost system. Overhead to products based on direct labor. So direct labor is the computation. And number 6, both products require 2 direct labor hours to complete for a total of 500 direct labor hours. So DVDs, 50,000 units at 2 hours, so 100 hours, 100,000. So CDs, 200 units, 200,000 units at 2 hours, that is what? 400,000 unit hours. So total direct labor hours is 500,000 labor hours. So because of this, okay? So you need to know the what? The number of hours that you can produce CD and you can produce DVD. And number 7, unit cost for materials and labors are DVD units, direct labor, $90. Direct labor, $20, and direct materials, $90. For CD units, direct labor, $20, direct materials, $50. Okay. So therefore, it is more expensive to produce DVD rather than CD. Okay, but the DVD performance is better than CD. Okay, direct labor hours as a base. An example of what we are doing right now. Total manufacturing overhead cost for the current year are estimated to be 10 million. Okay, for the year. The company develops the following overhead rate based upon labor hours. So predetermined overhead rate, or POHR, equals to $10 million divided by 500,000 direct labor hours, therefore $20 per direct labor hours. That is our POHR. So, if you can recall, the given 500,000 direct labor hours in the denominator is actually that is for what? The year. For the year. This one, this one. Okay, total direct labor hours for the year, for the current year, for the whole year. Okay, that is the amount. So that's why let us continue direct labor hours as a base. Since each product requires 2 hours of direct labor, $40 of overhead is assigned to each product because the per unit direct labor is 20 times 2, that is 40. So therefore, manufacturing overhead, as you can see here, the manufacturing overhead for DVD unit and also for the CD are both equal to 40. Okay. We are computing the overhead. For direct labor, that is okay. We already computed it as 20. So times 2 of the what? So 20 times 2, so we have 40. So also we know that there are what? $90 for DVD unit, $50 for CD unit. So total unit product cost, 150 DVD unit, 110 CD unit. So that's a good example for us to be able to apply the concept as well as the formula. So please do it and try to practice it by first watching the lecture, then trying to compute it starting from the number 1, starting from this, because this is example. This is an actual example. So starting from here, so you have to repeat the problem solving. So problem solving. How the problem solving arrives at the answer. So we now have the final answer. What is the unit cost? 150 for DVD and 110 for CD. That's all for the first module on chapter 3. This is Dr. AP, preaching engineering for nation building.